So another beautiful day, absolutely fantastic, and I'm enjoying it very much. So it's about 2:15 on Tuesday, March 20th, and I've been pretty productive today. Feel good. Actually, feel really good. I feel like I'm acclimating. I'm assimilating. I'm coming into my own. So last week was nice. Week 4 was good. Just over 2 weeks now since I have left my position as a property manager to focus on finishing my first solo book and focus on doing some traveling, some exploring, and establishing a speaking career, taking the philosophies and the ideas that I have about living a very happy and fulfilling life and passing those along to others and hopefully profiting from that. And I recorded toward the end of last week and talked a little bit about having to adapt to a lack of structure in my life now. Having that job created a certain structure that I operated around, and I feel that it was very necessary for me through the time that I was engaged in that, and the time came for me to move on, and I did, and everything seemed right about it, and it still does. I have no regrets about that. It's just, again, it's learning to live my life just a little bit differently. I've got to continue to focus on what I want and continue to manifest that. And a huge motivator for us as humans in identifying what it is that we want out of life is experiencing things that we don't want. And it makes it very easy to make decisions to change your life or to pursue a certain path, to reach the goals that you figure out that you want. But now I'm in this state, and it really hit me today that I'm really, really, really happy. And that was shaken just a little bit about an hour ago, and I'll talk about that. But so I've eliminated that structure from my life, that career, that occupation, that Monday through Friday 8 to 5 time block where I was committed to providing service to an employer in exchange for a paycheck. And it was an equitable exchange. I felt like I benefited financially from my salary and my benefits, and they benefited from me applying who I am to that position. It definitely did not push my potential. It definitely did not push me to the limits of what I could be doing. It was, at some points, felt like I was just wasting my time. But it was a mutually acceptable and equitable trade, and I'm very happy with what came from that. But it was definitely time to move on, and I was marveling today how clear and focused I feel on just existing in a state of of fulfillment, a state of happiness, once I removed the frustrations that that job brought. And I talked about that for years while doing that job, that it was, we were constantly in a state of conflict. There was always something going on. There was somebody on one side or the other that was angry, and that was a tremendous test for me. I've always had anger issues. I've always dealt with rage, dealt with ups and downs in my mood, and being in that situation where you're constantly in conflict, or the potential for conflict is always there, you really have to learn to control those issues in your life. And that was an exercise that I don't think I could duplicate anywhere else in life, and I don't think that I would have benefited the way that I have over the last 6+ years anywhere else, which is why I'm so happy. But I'm also happy to be done with it. I'm happy that that point, or that portion of my life is no longer necessary. And got a couple different thought processes going here at the same time, but let's just stay on today. So I got up and I talked last week about creating some kind of a structure, or some type of an expectation, or a method that I can still be productive. I can still get things done, because when a large portion of your time is taken up by a job, you have to focus on the things you want to do and do them in the time that you have available. And that is also an exercise in maintaining focus in order to be productive. But with that gone, you're left with this sense of, I have all the time in the world. What do I do now? And having to just kind of mentally project and figure out what tasks you want to do, and what method you want to use to accomplish them, and how you prioritize them. It's all up in the air. It's all flexible. When you're working 40 hours a week, or 40+ hours a week, and you've got some evening time, and you may have a few hours on the weekend around all of your other things, you say, all right, well, this is what I want to do, and I need to do this before anything else. And all right, Saturday, this is what I'm going to do it, and you set that timeline for yourself. You set that reminder for yourself, and hopefully you do it. And sometimes you don't, and there's no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So for me, what I had decided was, as long as I did something every day, and I could chalk it up as a win. And my goal was to chalk up as many wins as I could. So there's a lot of things that I do in life. There's a lot of things I do to maintain my health, and maintain my prosperity, maintain my mental state. Things I do to fulfill myself spiritually, and I want to maintain that balance. I don't want to lean too far in any one direction. So right now, my priorities are get the house ready for sale, so we can move on. Cutting some of the ties associated with that is on my list, and we've been working on that. Finish my book, really high up there. Maintain my health. One, I want to continue, being physical, to continue to exercise and build on that. I feel as I'm moving forward that I've maintained a certain level, but I want to step that up. So I need to push myself in multiple categories at the same time. I want to push myself mentally, I want to push myself physically, I want to push myself spiritually, and I want to continue to grow. And for me, the easiest way to do that, to physically basically override and stimulate, push that in the next level is exercise, strength training. And I haven't done it for a while. I've just really, over the last several months, just tried to be active. I just wanted to continue to be mobile. I want to get so many steps a day on my step counter. I want to do something that's physically active. So I've been doing, some weightlifting, but it's been light weights, high reps, and it hasn't been, focused on, all right, well, this is a weightlifting session. It's just been a matter of stepping out into the garage and doing, a set of curls, a set of bench press, some sit-ups, some crunches, some dips or pull-ups, or something, a dozen different exercises that I can do out there, and that's right there. And has been my goal, just to maintain a certain level of physical activity throughout the day, without getting stuck sitting on the couch or stuck sitting in front of the computer. And that's been going on for months, and I'm happy with it. It's kept me it's kept me moving, it's kept me physical, and I'm comfortable with that. But right now I'm trying to push some limits, so it's getting back onto more of a strength training program, where I'm going with heavier weights and less reps and more sets, to try and to build, to try and increase that. And simultaneously I'm building strength of mind, strength of will, to push myself to do those things. This is where it kind of goes hand in hand. I can kind of physically push that mental state into a next level by physically pushing myself to get stronger. And it goes hand in hand. So when I focus on the things that I want to create in my existence, mentally I feel stronger because I am physically getting stronger. And spiritually I try to maintain that same level, that connection to the universe, that understanding of all that is. So that's been my focus, and that's what I've been trying to do. It's what I've been trying to balance out, trying to do, because I don't want to work any one thing so much that I become out of balance. So it's been starting very low, with a very low bar set, and just every day I'm like trying to add to that. So the weather's been nice, so we've been going for bike rides. I've been loading the bikes up on the car and taking it over to the trailhead, and we've been riding. So 3-4 times now in the last week we've done that, and we've been able to push ourselves just a little bit farther every day, a little bit longer ride, a little bit higher intensity. I feel like my cardio is coming up. I feel like my conditioning is getting better. Today was the first day I was out in the garage. I've been lifting just a little bit here and there, trying to do a little bit more every day. But today was the day I started adding a little bit more resistance to it, a little bit more weight, trying to build myself back up to, what I know my capacity is. Increase my conditioning, become stronger physically, and in return become stronger mentally. I've been playing chess every day on the computer, again, trying to mentally keep myself focused. In the last week and a half, I've been writing, and I really like doing this stuff throughout the day with a sense of freedom, without any kind of schedule, which really suits me, and still being productive. I've been able to make this work for me over the last 7 days, and it's becoming the pattern in my life. It's becoming the norm. This is becoming my life. This is what it is. 3 weeks ago it was a theory. If I quit my job, I can be at home and I can focus on this, I can focus on this. I believe that if I am free of a 40-hour-a-week job, that I will be able to put more time into accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish. But it was a little sketchy there. It was unstable definitely that first week. And it was only a couple of days, and then I was traveling, and then I was back, so it was really the beginning of last week. And the first couple of days into the week, toward the end of the week, and I started to feel, all right, well, this is what I need to do to make this work. And I kind of made those adjustments and carried them through the weekend, and started the week strong. I've been trying to stay on the same schedule as Rhonda. She's still working in the office. She's still working the same that we worked together, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, nights and weekends off. And I don't want to deviate too far from that. I'm trying to keep that bit of structure kind of tethered to her, which is that's probably where I'm struggling the most, is maintaining that, because I have a tendency to be a night owl. I actually prefer to stay up late at night, go to bed in the early hours of the morning, and either get a few hours of sleep, get up, be productive, and then get a few more hours of sleep, or sleep in and try and be productive, and then hit a 20-30 minute nap sometime during the day. I've always tried to break my sleeping up into segments, different portions during the day, without sleeping too much through, because I just don't feel like I come back full force. I definitely feel like I'm more in tune to this reality if I keep my sleeping sessions shorter. So I've been trying to do that. I don't want to be too far out of whack from her on that, and the same thing with my eating schedule. And I mean, this is all part of what makes my life satisfying. So I'm trying to maintain all of that. I'm trying to maintain a healthy diet, even though I have, I'm here, and it's easier when I'm at home to feel drawn to snacking, or maybe eating more junk food. Definitely the draw to drink more alcohol. That's all there, and I'm trying to, again, maintain basically the same similar schedule that I had before, and it's working so far. And today was probably the first day where I just really felt in tune. I felt like everything was aligned. I felt everything was balanced. And again, has been this kind of adjustment period to, one, setting my own goals on a daily basis, my own agenda on my own timeline, and there's a certain amount of freedom that I can do it whenever I want, just as long as I do something during the day and try not to get too far out of whack. And it doesn't matter whether it's something productive or something that is recreational, which is also important. And there's, in my mind, there's a tendency to go overboard, to take things to an extreme, where, all right, well, I'm not working, so in a certain sense, I'm on vacation. I'm not working. I don't have to go to an office. I'm not entitled to do pleasurable things the same way I would be if I was working, because I haven't earned it. And that's a dangerous, really dangerous mindset to get into, and I felt myself having to fight that. Well, I think I want to watch a movie, or I think I want to go to a movie. Well, I didn't go to work this week. Should I do that? Shouldn't I really focus on being productive? That's that mindset that I'm trying to not allow to creep in, but that impulse is there. So it's overcoming that. It's identifying that and not allowing that to sink in, and just saying, all right, you know what? If I want to watch a movie, I'm going to watch a movie. If I want to go to the gun range, I'm going to go to the gun range. And I did. I did yesterday, and I did once last week too. And that's something that I really enjoy. And I struggled with it yesterday. I was like, I got everything out, got my gun clean, got it all loaded, got it ready, range ready, and there were some other things going on. Air conditioning had an issue with, so repair guys were here, and I was waiting for them. They took a couple hours, which kind of threw my ideal schedule. I had an idea of what I wanted my schedule for yesterday to be, and it kind of threw everything out of whack. And I'm like, all right, well, now everything's out of whack. I've been sitting here all morning doing nothing, because I didn't really want to commit to writing. I didn't really want to commit to website design. We've gone wireless now. We have no more Wi-Fi or cable at home. I'll come back to that. But when it was all done, I was like, all right, well, the gun's still here. I still want to go to the range, but it's already later in the day, and I wanted to work on the yard a little bit. I wanted to trim up some trees. I wanted to get some stuff for the planters out front, some things that to move forward on getting the house sale ready. But I didn't write today. I didn't write yesterday. I wrote a chapter and a half last week, which is more than I've done in that short of a time frame since I started the whole process. So it's identifying a variety of different things and just trying to do something towards each path every day. And I said it before, and I'll say it again, that today was fantastic. I didn't really have anything going on. There was really nothing that was outside of my control that was influencing what or how I was going to pursue my day. So I got up, like I have been with Rhonda, made her breakfast, sent her off to work, took a shower and shaved. I have a tendency to let those kinds of things go when I don't have to work. And maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days sometimes, and I'll be like, I'll get to it tomorrow. And that's important. I mean, good hygiene is important, but it's also mentally and spiritually beneficial to bathe. It's a cleansing. It has more of an impact than just controlling unsightly stubble and long fingernails and BO. It has more of an impact on your day and your pursuit of happiness than we probably give credit to. So I got up and I took a shower and shaved and felt good and felt clear, and I knew we needed a couple of more supplements from the store that we didn't get over the weekend. So I made that run and was able to get back and felt good about that, and sat down on the computer and played a game of chess. Worked towards setting up more of this wireless mobile lifestyle, which we're trying to shift into. Again, I'll come back to that. Was able to get in the garage and do some heavy lifting and do multiple sets and focus a larger chunk of time towards that. And I felt better. I felt more clear. I felt just really, really good. And sat down at the computer and brought up the next chapter title and just started plugging away and just said, all right, just a couple sentences, 50 words, let's see where this goes. And nearly 500 words into it, and I'm like, wow, I mean, it's coming, it's flowing. It's much easier to be in that mindset all the time and not having to deal with the drama and frustration of the job that I had been doing for all that time. And I was waiting for Rhonda to come home for lunch, and it was going to be around 1 o'clock. She texted and said, hey, maybe we can stop at this place over by work. I've got, she won a gift card last week. She said, maybe just stop over there. We don't have a ton of leftovers. We're going to just meet over there and we'll have lunch. I'm like, that's great. And I finished up what I was writing on, typed a sentence to where I got to a point where I could stop and be good with that, and just jumped in the car and went, and felt nothing but joyous freedom. I felt like this is it. This is the life that I have desired for a long time, and I am living it. And I felt almost, and I even said this to Rhonda while we were in the restaurant, that I felt like I was glowing, even on the ride over here. And I was like, I can't wait to sit down and talk about this. I can't wait to record about this, because I feel so good. Everything that I have wanted my life to be, it is right now. Now, I haven't achieved all the things that I want to achieve yet, but they're in motion. They're moving. There is movement towards them. And it's on a timeline that fits into a successful and happy life for me. And I can't even explain how exciting that is and how good that feels. So we get to the restaurant, we meet up, we get inside, and then all of a sudden I start becoming edgy. And I was like, all right, I don't know why I'm edgy. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm feeling really, really aggressive. But I've been increasing my workouts over the last couple weeks. I've increased my strength training today for the first time, where I actually was pushing some weights to the limit my body was conditioned to accept. And during those periods, I tend to feel this rush of adrenaline, maybe testosterone. I don't know what it is, but anytime I'm on this upswing, I have a tendency to feel aggressive and sometimes impatient and edgy, especially when it comes to other people. So I couldn't explain it. I just know that I was standing in the restaurant, and I just all of a sudden started to feel like I wanted to punch somebody. And it's not uncommon for me. It's something that I've dealt with my whole life. These anger issues, these rage issues, and this draw towards violence. I've kept myself very peaceful. I've managed to get through 46 years without getting into any kind of a police issue, without getting myself arrested, without doing something stupid. So there's always been that bit of tempered control in there, but the impulse is there. So we're there, we order our food, we sit down, and by the time we sat down, I was just like, I was almost shaking. I was just like, and it's just like, are you in a bad mood? Do you have a bad day? I'm like, no, I was having a fantastic day. I was an absolutely amazing day. And just all of a sudden right now, I want to punch everybody. I'm looking at that chip on your shoulder thing. I'm like, all right, just somebody do something. Somebody say something. And when you get like that, you create those situations. So I have to mentally, shut that down and not allow that to evolve into something that would be detrimental to my pursuit. So we just changed the subject. I'm like, all right, well, how was your day? So she starts talking about work, and she was a little stressed. And it's a stressful job, and we communicated on a pretty regular basis. We worked together in the same office for years and years. And there's a lot of things that we feel very similar about as far as dissatisfaction with that particular company, or how it's run, or the dynamics of that business, the emotional pitfalls that present themselves in property management. And so I was allowing her to vent, to try and clear her mind, and it was feeding all these feelings of anger and frustration that I felt when I worked there, which I was just marveling about an hour before, about how nice it was to be free from those, and how much easier it is for me to focus on these desires that I have in pursuing this path without all that in my life. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm reliving it through her. And it was right about then I started thinking, all right, well, when I first walked in, I thought it was something in the restaurant. I just thought it was the dynamics, the energy of the crew, the patrons, something that was just very unsettling to me, that was causing me to be tense and angry. And I started to think, after that kind of light bulb went off, that maybe I was picking up on her frustrations from work, and I was connecting to them on an even higher level because I'm so familiar with them, because we've lived our lives for the last several years complaining about those same things. And it was almost like I recognized that energy, and without even having to have any words spoken, I was picking up on what her tensions were, and it was automatically stimulating mine. So after my visit to New York, and I left and felt like I'm going kind of on a vacation. I don't need to take any preventative measures to block outside influences, and I use stones for that. and I carry specific ones with me on a daily basis, which one help keep me grounded, and help me deflect some of those circumstances, keep me from getting sucked into some of these dramatic situations. And they really did help me get through that last year or so at work. And when I went to New York, I was like, I'm going on vacation. I don't need those. What could I possibly run into? Well, as I found out, there was quite a bit of negativity there. And I felt myself being sucked down into it to the point where I was actually physically getting ill on that last day. And again, it wasn't until I got back home and got away from all that that I kind of see hindsight and be like, all right, well, I see what happened. So now I make sure they're with me every day, because you just don't know what circumstances and events you're going to run into that you may need just a little bit of assistance getting through, something to lean on. And as soon as I kind of identified all that in lunch, I really focused on, the stones I have in my pocket. I focused on the intent of having them there and not allowing those circumstances to impact my mood. And I rebounded quickly, much quicker than I really thought that I would be able to the point where I was leaving there, I was like, all right, well, that was a good learning experience. And as excited as I was on the way to the restaurant about coming home and recording about what a fantastic day I was having and how fantastic my life is right now, for a brief moment there, it was all eclipsed. It was gone, and I was just in this dark hole of anger, and I was able to retrieve myself from that, and I rebounded, and I was again looking forward to recording, because it was, now I have something even more to talk about. And again, it's just, you never know when these little life lessons are going to present themselves to you. And always take the opportunity, take the time to figure out, try and understand the why. Why am I experiencing what I'm experiencing? What is the point behind this? Because there is a point, and it will be a beneficial point. But you have to open up your interpretation of what beneficial is. It could be beneficial on a level that you maybe don't even see as beneficial. But that's not what we're talking about right now. So just a reminder to me and to you, if for some reason things all of a sudden aren't going like you thought or like you hoped, or understand the why. Figure out, look, see what is the purpose behind this, and what can I do to change it so that I don't go through it again. And it just brings me right back into that state of mind where I feel really good about this. I love pulling up the computer, logging into my book document, and just writing, and actually having material that is of value, that I find valuable, come out. And it's becoming easier and easier and easier every day, and it's becoming more satisfying and fulfilling every day. I don't remember when I recorded last, but I had sent off my information for my book cover, and I got that back from the designer yesterday with a kind of a preliminary design of my book cover, my book, my first book. And the last week and a half, I've written close to 2 chapters now, which is more than I've written in that short of a time span since I started, and I just said that. But now I have a cover to go with it. I'm coming closer to completing the actual generation of the book, and now I'm one step closer to having the packaging done. and I asked for a couple little tweaks yesterday and got those back late last night and looked at them, and I'm really, really happy with it, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see my book cover in print, in a picture, right in front of me, on my phone, on the computer, whatever I'm looking at it. And the idea when I decided to put my notice in was to spend more time to be able to complete this project on a shorter timeline. And it's happening. It's as the more I'm living this, the more I'm manifesting this, and the more I'm seeing it come about, the more confident I feel moving forward. And I've had some fears, I've had some doubts, I've had those periods where you wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock, and you're kind of groggy, and you're like, what did I do? I don't have a job anymore. How am I going to pay my bills? What am I going to do? What was I thinking? And I still have those moments, but I don't let them take root. I automatically, immediately think about everything I've done so far and the goals I have set over the last couple years, and the goals that I've reached, the things that I have achieved, and I just remind myself that there's a plan. It's not like I just said I'm quitting my job and I'm going to hope for the best. There's an actual plan. It's a feasible, realistic plan, and that's where I've failed in the past, because I've done so many things on faith in my life that I didn't have any kind of a plan. I just hoped that things would work out, that something would manifest, and I really hoped that that desire would be enough to get me where I needed to go. And it never was. But I never had a plan. I didn't have steps specifically laid out that if I do this, then this will come next, and then when I do that, then this will come next, and then when I do that, this will come in. There was a progression. I never had that progression. I was just like, all right, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and I'm just gonna close my eyes and hope that I get there. And then I open my eyes and I'm not any closer, because I haven't taken any steps. When I have steps and I have the will to take them, I have the knowledge, the know-how, the understanding, the wisdom to continue to move forward. And that is my evolution. That's what I've evolved into. And it's all the experiences that I've had in this lifetime leading up till now that have gotten me here. And it's identifying those steps and remembering them. It's very easy to forget the steps that you took to get from one point to another, and then end up taking that path over and over and over and over again when it really isn't necessary. Now, there's always some benefit to repetition. There's always some benefit to the things that you experience, even if they're repetitive and to a certain extent unnecessary. You will benefit from them. But I'm taking greater strides now, and I'm covering more ground, and I'm growing and evolving at a faster rate because of that. And that is part of the natural progression as well. So I know there was a couple more things that I wanted to try and circle back to. One of them, oh yeah, cutting the ties, cutting the wires. This was one of those things where I'm just like, well, all right, do I really want to do this? Now, this cable, you call up and say, hey, I want cable. They come out, they hook it up, boom. Now you have access to all kinds of stuff. You got access to the internet, you got access to phone service, you got access to cable channels and movie channels and all kinds of information out there. and you pay for it. You got a hefty bill. And one of the things that we've been moving forward on this path was becoming more mobile, becoming more flexible, the ease of movement, and that's why we wanted to put the house up for sale and cash out the equity. Again, we want that freedom to move around. But things like internet and cable are things that are really associated with the home, and we were trying to figure out a way to make that something that was more conducive to the lifestyle we're trying to accomplish. And mobile phones have done that, and the quality of the product that you can get now is in a handheld in this thing. I mean, it still blows my mind. And the technology is there to make it just as user-friendly as your cable at home. So, like, all right, well, in theory, we could get rid of cable. We could eliminate that bill. We could use our cell phone and a couple of different apps and a couple of different things that are available out there to make to really still live the same kind of life, but not really be tied down or have a fixed location, which is kind of what we were trying to achieve. So the day I said I'm going to cancel cable, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to cancel cable. But there was still the act of it that I had to go through, and there was a certain amount of hesitation, there was a certain amount of fear. I'm like, well, do I really want to do that, because we're going to lose out on this, and this. Now, we could probably make it up in other ways on our mobile devices, but it's theory. How in real life, how is it going to work? Is it actually going to be as good? Are we still going to get the same product, the same service that we're used to, or are we going to have to sacrifice something along the way? And so the next step I made was setting up some of these services, some of these apps, some of these different programs, and just trying them out before I made that final decision. It made it easier for me to make that decision, and they seemed to work. But I had called up, and I finally broke down and said, all right, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to cancel it. So I called up and I canceled it, but I gave myself a couple days. Well, I don't want it to do today, so let's go for Monday. And I really thought it was going to go to the end of the day yesterday, but we woke up yesterday and there was no cable and there was no Wi-Fi, and it was all shut off. So I'm like, all right, well, now we're kind of free. It's time to put this to the test. Can I do everything on my mobile device through my mobile network that I would want to do at home or in an office? So I had set up my phone as a mobile hotspot, and I have hooked up to my computer before and played around with it just to see if I can get the same kind of experience out of that. And it was never quite as good as, obviously 200 megabytes per second at home on your Wi-Fi, and then going through your mobile network. There's a difference in quality. But so yesterday was kind of the first day standing alone without that crutch, and all right, well, I made it work through the whole day. I was able to do everything that I would normally do on any given day that I wanted to do, and I was able to make it happen with my devices. That was exciting. We got into last night. I'm like, all right, well, we have all these mobile TV apps set up, and all right, let's see how it works. I can mirror my phone to my smart TV and watch the shows that we would normally watch on cable. Is it going to work? Is it going to be glitchy? Is it going to be bouncing around, cutting in and out? What is the experience going to be like? And it was actually good. So it was having that theory. In theory, we can do this, but in reality, what's the actual experience going to be like? And it's worked out. And this can go anywhere. I can go anywhere in the world with this and make this work. Now the level of service I might get is going to fluctuate depending on the region I'm in, but in theory I can do everything that I'm doing here, and I'm not tethered to a specific location. I don't have to be sitting in my kitchen on my Wi-Fi to do the things I want to do on my computer. I can go anywhere and do it. And it's small. It seems very minute in comparison to the things in the world, but that was a pretty liberating moment for me at the end of the day yesterday. I was like, I got through my first day of being home-based and not having any type of landline connection to give me what I needed. I was able to do it from a mobile standpoint, which is it's freeing. It's liberating, and it fits right in with all those other things. We're just trying to cut all those ties. We're trying to cut anything that can hold us into any one area, and be free to evolve and move about as we desire, when we desire, and be free to pursue our happiness and be free to experience the most life has to offer without having to I can't think of the phrase. Sacrifice quality. I guess that's the best way to describe it. We can do all the things that we want, and we can do them in a very satisfying and fulfilling way. And again, that's every step that I have taken over the last 3-4 weeks has been a step towards personal freedom, to liberty, and every day it becomes more and more my reality. And hopefully, if you're taking the time to watch this, you're trying to achieve that same goal, and hopefully what I've done and what I've said as far as approaching that, pursuing that, is going to help you find yours.